We continue to monitor President Trump's first 100 days rally in Warren, Michigan. Our panel's back. Dana, look at what Speaker Mike Johnson tweeted earlier today. It says, "America's back." A very celebratory image, all caps, celebrating the first 100 days. It is quite a difference, that image, and what we've seen for the administration and Republican leadership, to how voters are responding to Trump's first 100 days, at least according to all the polls I've seen.
No question. And Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, spent some time with the president talking about the tax bill. So you have to kind of remember what the kind of dynamic is there, is that the Speaker is somebody who has to constantly make sure that the president understands that Johnson is on his side. And it's a difficult thing. It's a very difficult relationship for him to manage. And it's very clear that he understands he has to continually prove that. That's, to me, reading that from the outside in, what that was about.
And Scott, I mean, I understand it's celebratory where you are, celebratory among Republican voters, the Republican base. But the polls indicating discomfort have to have some people in the Trump White House concerned, no?
Well, I think they're watching them and paying attention to it, but they also know there's more work to do. I mean, they're going to roll out some more announcements on trade deals. They've got more private investment announcements, as I understand it. They think that will help. But really what I am picking up from these guys here is that over the next several weeks, the pressure on Congress to pass the reconciliation bill, the big, beautiful bill, as he's been talking about, that's where the real focus is, because they think if they can lay down a marker on taxes and energy and all the other changes they want to make, they're going to be able to paint their opponents, the Democrats, as obstructionists and people who want to raise your taxes and so on and so forth. So that's the battle to come, and they think if they win that battle, they're going to see a boost out of it.
Yeah, and David Chalian, I mean, the one thing that every Republican that I have at this table to talk about the president's polling ever since it started taking a dive after Liberation Day, April 2nd, is, well, I'd still rather be President Trump than any of the congressional Democrats because his polling numbers are much better than theirs are.
I mean, we see it in our poll today as well, where you see that Democratic voters are extraordinarily displeased with their own party's leadership. That is not true on the Republican side. Republican voters are overwhelmingly pleased with their Republican leadership. And part of that, which is why, to what Scott was saying, like, part of why I think the White House, not only do they want this bill passed, but that's going to be the main message focus for the weeks ahead, is because it's going to put pressure on the Democrats for how they are going to try and convince some people on the Republican side or rally voters to convince Republicans to vote against it. Because this pressure cooker, there's a reckoning coming inside the Democratic Party. It's not just a binary choice, Jake, we're seeing these polls. It is true that Donald Trump is bleeding support with independents, that his numbers are at a historic low at the 100-day mark. But that the Democrats are not benefiting from that right now. And the pressure is going to be on them because their party members want to see their elected leaders actually do something to stop Trump's advancement. And this tax bill is going to be a very key example of a moment where they are going to try to do that.
Alyssa, why do you think that Democrats have not been able to benefit at all from the independent support and other support that Trump is losing? Why have they not been able to step up and gain any of it? Do you think it's the pall of the Biden administration, the gaslighting about the President Biden's acuity? What do you think it is?
All of the above. I think Democrats lost a lot of faith with the American public in just defending Joe Biden at every cost. They're also effectively leaderless right now, and I think they're struggling to find a message. You'll see in polling that people think the leader is anyone from AOC to Kamala Harris to Bernie Sanders. Well, that's not exactly a clear leader of the party, and it's certainly neither of the two congressional leaders. And then you've got folks on the campaign trail talking about fighting the oligarchy. With due respect, no one sits around the table when they're thinking about how they're going to pay that next bill and talks about the oligarchy. For for all of Donald Trump's flaws, he's remarkably good at honing a very simple, direct message that resonates people. Build the wall, bring down costs for Americans. That's what Democrats need to get back to. They need to get to what is their agenda that is not just anti-Trump, but what are they going to do to make the lives of Americans better day to day? And I haven't seen someone emerge capable of doing that quite yet.
Here is President Trump talking to Terry Moran of ABC News.
Ask one question about Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. There's a lot of turmoil at the Pentagon right now. There's the signal chat with his wife on it where he's discussing that attack in Yemen. There's another signal chat discussing the attack on Yemen. There's a reporter accidentally involved. You said the other day that you had a talk with the secretary. Did you take him to the woodshed?
I had a talk with him, and whatever I said, I probably wouldn't be inclined to tell you. But we had a good talk. He's a talented guy. He's young, he's smart, highly educated, and I think he's going to be a very good hopefully a great defense secretary, but he'll be a very good defense secretary.
You have 100% confidence in
I
Pete
don't have
Hegseth?
100% confidence in anything. Okay, anything. Do I have 100%? It's a stupid question. Look,
It's a pretty important position.
No. You don't have 100%. Only a liar would say I have 100% confidence. I don't have 100% confidence that we're going to finish this interview.
We will.
Our panel's back. And Scott, you just saw Secretary of Defense Hegseth on the trip to Michigan on Air Force One with President Trump. Did you get any feeling about their interactions at all?
I did, actually. And what I saw was Donald Trump has a lot of confidence in Pete Hegseth. I saw a commander-in-chief who's standing behind his Secretary of Defense. And we went over before this rally to Selfridge Air Force Base here, where President Trump made an announcement about saving that base and putting new fighter jets there. And he had Pete Hegseth on the trip and brought him up to the podium and let him say a few words. My observation was it was a big vote of confidence in Pete Hegseth coming out of some of these issues we've been discussing. So my observations today is Pete Hegseth is in good stead with the Commander-in-Chief, Donald Trump.
David Chalian, be that as it may, Pete Hegseth has had the two biggest mess-ups of any member of the Trump administration so far. One, Signalgate, and two, the second Signalgate.
Yes, Signalgate 1 and 2. Listen, the reason Hegseth's job is safe today, and who knows if it will be going forward, is because of all the political capital spent to get him to the position that he's in. So Trump and his team are really loath to give that scalp up, if you will, in a way to political opponents, to the press coverage around this. They put so much to get him into that role that I think that in and of itself right now has protected him a little bit. But I don't think that that's guaranteed to protect him all the way through if there is some other screw up.
And just to put a finer point on what you just said, it's the political capital that the president spent, the people around him, but it's also that he asked his fellow Republicans in the United States Senate to spend in order to get him over the finish line, which it wasn't easy.
And Alyssa Farah Griffin, Pete Hegseth, I don't think there are probably a number of individuals, including Senate Republican former leader Mitch McConnell, who voted against Hegseth, who are not surprised by this because they have already said that they didn't think he had the maturity and was too reckless a candidate to be Secretary of Defense.
Yeah, listen, I think Donald Trump has legitimate affection for Pete Hegseth. I remember being with him when I staffed an interview he did. He likes his wife. He likes him as a person. He thinks he's good on TV, looks the part. But listen, Donald Trump's not one to want to give a scalp to the media or to the outrage, especially in this kind of first 100 days. I would be stunned if there aren't some staffing and even senior changes that come in the coming months, though. And Hegseth has been marred by scandal. And Donald Trump gives people he likes some rope, but not too much, especially somewhere as important as the Department of Defense. And I think what also matters is in Trump world, there's always going to be people around him who are jockeying to replace if that position were to become vacant. So he's going to be hearing from senators, from elected officials about who should be in that role and who could do it better than Hegseth.